When shifting to the America's Cup side of things, when you were talking about they're giving out power numbers, do you remember what they said on paper? Like, hey, here's what you have to do. Because I'm sure
Yeah.
people
So
that watch the GCN thing, you drop the 500 for an hour, so like
yeah,
big watts.
yeah. So I think when I first got the phone call, they wanted a guy that could do 400 watts for a minute and a half, and then do 1300 watts for 30 seconds for 20 minutes. And
Like over and over again.
yeah, so that would be the over under. And so I plugged it in to Training Peaks while I'm on the phone with this guy. And you know, you have that workout builder. And
Yeah.
it was like 750 watts for 20 minutes. And I was like, hey man, that's kind of impossible. And I think it's just like, that was the funny thing about the America's Cup. It was like this, you had like designers that didn't really necessarily know, like understand power, or like didn't really understand like what the human physiology, like what a human was capable of.
Mm.
And so then I like go back and forth, and I have phone calls, and then finally I get this next phone call from like performance guy, and he's like, "Look, we need a guy that can do, you know, 1300 for 30 seconds, 500 for 4 minutes, and 400 for 20." And I was like, "Oh, easy. I can do all that. I can do every single one. Like that's I can do that." And so we do the test, and then I do the test or whatever, and then I get a call back, and it's like, hey, you know, we were wondering if you'd be interested in coming to Annapolis to meet. I think it was like 6 or 5 other guys that essentially were trialing, and we've narrowed it down to you 6, and we think that we want to see the test happen in person, because some of the test results that we got, we don't know if guys are calibrating their trainers, or, and he's like, I'm not really worried about you per se, but I'm worried about some of the other guys. And because I have this cycling background, and like I told him I calibrated it, and I like gave him the data or whatever. And so we go do the test in person, and I'm watching these guys right next to me, and they're all over the place. Like, and some of them are okay, but and some of them have like a cycling background, but like I was like, I'm gonna smash this. Like, I'm gonna smash these guys. Like, these guys aren't even like, these guys are pedaling squares, and they're all over the place. And then the test scores come back out. And like, this is after the the trainers have been like calibrated, like the coach is there, like doing this whole thing. Um, the test scores come back out, and I have the lowest 20-minute power. And I think I did like 430 watts. And and I did okay, and I had like one of the highest in 30 seconds and one of the highest in 4 minutes. I think one guy did like 480, 20 minutes. And this is like the first test, like dry. And I was just like, Jesus Christ. And I was like, oh man, like rude wake up call. Like, and at this point, like I'd never really done a 20-minute test. Like I've never really saw the need to. So I never really did it. I do 4 minutes and 30 stuff all the time, but I never
What are you
really
doing for
tested.
30 seconds?
Yeah, about little over 1300. Like I
Oh
can
my
do,
God. Okay. And
yeah.
how much were you weighing at this point in time? This is pre 100 kgs, right?
No, this like so when I went and did this test, I kind of let myself go a little bit, and I think I weighed in at 108 kgs.
Dang.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was a big
What were you
fella.
before that?
When I was racing on the track, I was at 95 to 97.
Okay.
And so when I found out that there was like no pressure, like I ate and I drank beer, and I raced crits even still. Like I was racing crits at the time. I was doing really well as well. Like I wasn't really struggling or anything.